All right, John, I probably shouldn't be this irritated because the Angels were probably going to lose anyway, maybe, but Joe Maddon drives me crazy, and I think that loss last night was on him, and John and I are going to tell you why. Plus, we're going to talk about the Blue Jays series, and we're going to tell you about two Angels that were never really Angels. You're Locked On with Mike and John, and this is Locked On Angels.
You are Locked On Angels, your daily Los Angeles Angels podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts. If you're listening on the audio side, please rate and review the pod. It actually helps people find it. We love 5 stars. And if you're on the video side, you can subscribe and click the bell to be notified every time a new episode hits. And today's episode is brought to you by rockauto.com. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. Visit rockauto.com and tell them the boys from Locked On Angels sent you.
What's going on, everybody? My name is John, and that's my brother.
And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
You got the Frisch Brothers here with you, a.k.a. the Super Halo Bros, for another edition of Locked On Angels. We're happy you decided to join us. Mike, I'm currently traveling with my wife. We're in Chicago at the moment, and I had deep dish pizza for the first time. And even after having deep dish pizza, I think that I could have played a more lively game of baseball than the Halos did, because they all look like they had about 8 slices of deep dish pizza playing out there this
What a
last
frustrating game that was. And here's, okay, I'm going to take this because I'm really frustrated.
Please,
all right.
Please.
So Detmers pitches a pretty good game. Pretty good, right?
Pretty good.
And 6 innings was great, and 5 hits, 5 runs. One of those runs he didn't deserve. And then 3 Ks, and he just walked 1. Here's where I'm really frustrated. He pitches into the 7th inning. They let him go out there. He's only got 73 pitches so far.
Yeah.
And then he gives up a hit to Cole Calhoun, which Cole Calhoun has owned us in the last 2 series.
Angel killer. He's the new Mike Napoli.
He is so frustrating. However, it's great. I'm glad that he's doing well. I just hate that he's doing well against us.
Right.
But what I hated is then as soon as he gets on base, Maddon comes out to
Here comes Maddon.
Get Reed Detmers, right?
Detmers had the eye roll of the century.
Yes, and that should speak volumes, right? And so you and I are always going to be advocates for pitchers going deep into games. And even when they're down 4-1, like they were last night, I think that he should have been able to stay in that game. And here's why. Detmers' pitches were all over the strike zone, and they were spotting really well. Even fastball to like curveball to slider and changeup. The guy was pretty dominant, and I think that the Rangers just hit the right pitches in the right spots.
Sure.
But then where Joe drives us nuts is he brings in Mike Myers. And Mike Myers is terrible.
He's, he wears number 21. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Mike Myers wears number 21 because he should have stayed in 2021. He shouldn't be part of this bullpen in 2022.
I gotcha.
Good grief, man.
He's terrible. He comes in, he's throwing flat, hittable pitches, and Myers does what Myers always does. He gives up 3 more runs, and he's mad at himself, and you saw him get mad at himself, which is nice to see a little bit of fire, but I want to say to him, Mike, this is what you do all the time.
Yeah, this
right?
is your job.
And then the thing that's really frustrating is that Archie Bradley was in the bullpen, and they used him later on, so just switch those guys.
Right. Bring in Jimmy Herget. Like, he can get you through a couple of innings like they did with Myers. Myers pitched 2 innings and let that lead get away. So, I mean, 4-1 is a very manageable game. 7-1 is, all right, I'm going home.
Well, and
not that I would do that. I would not leave early.
Angel fans never do that,
never
right?
do that.
But the thing that was really frustrating is that you could tell, like, the wind went out of the sails, right?
Yeah.
You could tell that everything just kind of
roll over and die.
That's it's what it felt like, right?
Yeah.
And they kept giving up runs, and you could just feel the momentum drip away. And so I'm just frustrated with Joe. Joe and I need to go to like couples therapy. We need to talk this through because he's so frustrating, and he does this all of the time.
Yeah.
And it's gotta change. It's just gotta change. So Joe, do better.
Please do better. Good grief, man. Yeah, Cole Calhoun has become an angel killer, and he had that home run into the corner where he used to hit them all the time as an Angel. So he felt very comfortable at Angel Stadium again. And it's frustrating because these guys just struggle all season long, and then they meet the Angels and it's like, oh, I found out how to be a superstar again. And it's always against us. Now, I have to say that for a guy who only has his second career win, Glenn Otto pitched pretty well. He went 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 7 Ks. And 4 of those were not 4 of them, but some of those were Mike Trout. But I gotta say, dude,
4 of them were Mike Trout.
Well, I don't think they were all against Otto, but I mean,
that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's what I'm trying to say. But then
Trout was terrible.
And then poor Shohei, man, I don't want to see any slander about Shohei striking out when he has to deal with the low and away pitch outside the zone his entire career. He's getting Aaron Judged out there because they're both tall. And why do the umpires do this to the same guys? And it's not even like it's one umpire doing it all the time. It's every umpire calls that low and away strike on Shohei Ohtani or Aaron Judge. And it's just like, how do they can't keep getting away with it.
It's like they're watching the replay from other games when other umps have actually called those games, and they're like, "Ooh, I'm going to do that too. I guess that's a really good call. Ooh, that's a really good spot."
Yeah,
when it's a terrible pitch.
This is not Chase Silseth hanging out with Noah Syndergaard and Michael Lorenzen learning how to pick up a new pitch. Like, umpires are not sitting around watching video of each other going, "Ooh, that's good. I'm gonna write that down."
Right. It's so frustrating. And then to add on top of that, listen, Kurt Suzuki is a nice guy.
Kurt.
He's a nice guy. But he threw like my grandma when he was throwing down to second base last night. Man, everything bounced. And somebody's going to say, well, he did get interfered with on that one play. Okay, take that one away. I'm going to give that one to him. The other 76 throws down to second base. Like, was he skipping rocks? Was that what he was doing? Because he wasn't throwing a baseball down to second base.
No kidding.
I felt like he needed to count the bounces as it was going. Like, weak throws, nothing on the ball, 0 success. I'm gonna say it out loud. Like, Chad Wallach needs to be back on this team ASAP. And I think that the Angels should take advantage of our 3 favorite words, DFA, and Myers should go, and Suzuki should. I'm fired up. I had a Built Bar before this episode, and I'm fired up.
The Bullpen reared its ugly head, and it's captained by Mike Myers, unfortunately. So, you know what, Mike? As we turn the page, like so
turn
says,
the page.
We got to look back and realize that the Angels are 27-18. We're 2 games back of the Astros. We have a lot of games to play, a lot of games ahead of us. And I know we always say take series. Unfortunately, we split this weird 2-game series. I still don't know why they had a Monday off, but maybe, I don't know. They wanted to watch Better Call Saul and take the day off, I guess. That's what I would have done. But they start a 4-game series against the Blue Jays today, and we're going to talk about that next. And that is a series that is going to be challenging, but history has shown that the Angels love to step up against the tough teams and look like they're taking a nap against teams like the Rangers. So we'll see how that series goes, and we'll get into all of that coming up next.
And coming up on Locked On Angels, John and I are also going to talk about those Angels that were never really Angels and actually where they are now. But first, Locked On Angels is brought to you by rockauto.com, Jonathan.
Yes, it is. It's brought to you by rockauto.com. This is why you should check out rockauto.com. Let me tell you why. With so many different makes and models of cars today, it can be nearly impossible to expect your local auto parts store to stock all the parts that you need. And that's why you need to check out rockauto.com. You have access to all the parts your car will ever need, from brake parts to tail lamps to motor oil and even new carpet. rockauto.com has it all. Here's the good news for you. They are a family business, and they've been serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. And because they're family owned, they understand budgets, which is why Rock Auto prices are reliably low for every customer in this economy. So if you're working on your car, go to rockauto.com and see all the parts available for your car or truck. And when you do, make sure to write Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box. That way they know that Mike and I sent you there. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. Go to rockauto.com today.
We appreciate you making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. And now for your next listen, check out the Locked On Now podcast. You're going to get recaps from all of the Locked On hosts, MLB hosts, including me. And I ranted and I apologize. But we give you our analysis of the game. My analysis was terrible because I ranted and I apologize. But we're taking fans through the season like no other network. And this podcast is free and available wherever you get your podcasts.
I didn't think it was a bad rant. I think you had to say what you needed to say, and you did. And there was no lie. Where was
John
the lie?
approved? John approved.
So today we begin a 4-game series against the Toronto Blue Jays. And so we wanted to take some time to talk about this team. First, this is a team filled with stars, Mike. We've got Vlad Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette. Somebody the other day tweeted the book of Bo Bichette, and I was really mad. I didn't think of that joke earlier because that's brilliant. George Springer, Matt Chapman, noted Angel killer.
Yeah.
And then what about the pitching side, Mike?
Well, they signed Kevin Gossman, and he's having a great start to this season. And Alek Manoah is actually pitching really, really well. And then Jose Barrios, is it Barrios or Barrios?
Barrios.
You're always the one that corrects me on this show, so that's why I'm turning to you. And then Jordan Romano is closing games for them, and their starting staff has pitched really, really well. And of course, you mentioned the offense. They're backed up by Vladdy's son and Dante Bichette's son and Jerry Springer's son. And no, I'm kidding.
Jerry Springer.
But they have a great offense, and they have a great defense, and they have a great pitching staff. And so I think that this is going to be a team that could cause us some fits in this next series.
Yeah, so currently they sit third in the AL East, 23-20. Hey, we have a better record behind the Yanks and the Rays. And if the playoffs started today, they would be a wild card team, and they would be playing against the Rays. They're probably excited that they don't have to do that because nobody wants to play the Rays in the playoffs. So, so we'll see how the rest of this season plays out for the Blue Jays. But they're a fun team. They're fun to watch. I mean, gosh, like you said, all those second generation stars coming through on their offense. Of course, Vladdy Jr. was part of the MVP race against Shohei Ohtani last season. And had Shohei not been able to do both, I think that would have been Vladdy Jr.'s MVP to win if Ohtani wasn't pitching and hitting. But that's where the value comes from Shohei. And then we have the probables lined up for this weekend. Hyun-Jin Ryu is 1-0 with a 6 ERA versus Ohtani. And in Ohtani's last 5 starts, he's 3-0 with an ERA of, get this, 1.52. So that's going to be a great matchup on Thursday. What about Friday, Mike?
Manoah is 5-1, and he has got a 1.62 ERA, and he's going up against Chase Silseth. So this is Chase's third major league start, and I think that that's actually going to be a really great challenge for him. And I think for Silseth to be successful, he's got to reach into the fifth, sixth inning, right? I'm not as creative as you are. That was really good.
I know. That's why I'm here.
How about Saturday, John?
Saturday, we have Yusei Kikuchi, who is 2-1 with a 3.74 ERA. They got him in a free agent signing. He came over from the Mariners. He was with the Mariners last few seasons. And I think he started out a little bit rough this season, but it looks like he's righted the ship. 2-1, 3.74 ERA versus Michael Lorenzen, Biceps Lorenzen. He's going to be on the mound on Saturday. And then, of course, Sunday, Jose Barrios, 3-2 with a 4.75 ERA. He's going to be taking on Patrick Sandoval, my boy, Sandy. So we got some really great pitching matchups in addition to some great offense from both teams. I'm hopeful that this is where the Angels step up and really show who they are because, like I said in the last segment, they always embarrass themselves against teams that they should be winning against, like the Rangers.
Yeah.
And it's not just like the Ranger game was a close one and they just didn't get the extra run that they needed. 7-1. Like,
yeah.
And it's just bad decisions all around. So hopefully they figure that out this weekend.
Yeah. I think that this series is going to be a pivotal series because we're playing in New York against the Yankees, who can't seem to lose a game. Like they just keep on winning. You mentioned Aaron Judge. He's having a phenomenal year. He's on pace to hit 60 home runs. And so in that minor league park in New York, right? That's what the Rangers manager said about it just a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Shohei and the short porch are best friends, by the way. I love watching Walsh and Shohei as lefties hit home runs over that short porch. So we'll use that to our advantage as we take on the Yanks. And then, of course, we have the Phillies after that. That'll be fun to see Mike Trout versus Bryce Harper, two guys who came up around the same time, and now they're the veterans on their team, which is crazy to see.
That is crazy to think.
And then Boston will take them on back at home. So Angel fans, if you're going to Red Sox versus Angels, just be prepared for all of the Boston Red Sox fans to come crawling out of the closets. For some reason, they love Orange County and they love LA. So they'll be showing up to the game after that. But Mike, here's something I'm excited about. Matty V is likely to call the games on the East Coast.
Who?
Remember him?
Who?
Matty V, Matt Vasgersian.
Oh, Matt Vasgersian actually calls games for the Angels?
He still calls games, I guess.
That'd be great to have him back, man. I really like his voice and I like his style. Nothing against Patty O. We like Patty O. But, man, having Matty V back in the booth would be great. And as you've mentioned before in this pod, I think the Angels are playing the long game and really want this guy. Yeah, they really want this guy to be their main play-by-play guy. And so I think 2 years left with the MLB Network, I think was his contract.
Right.
This
season and next season. Yeah.
It'd be great to have him, but it'll be nice to hear his voice and hear his voice live. And I wonder if they're trying to work out some of those audio issues when he's actually broadcasting in, because I would love to hear him more in the next few weeks, in the next few months than we have heard him. And Gooby and Patty O'Neill have done a great job and their chemistry is awesome, but there's nothing like Matty V calling games.
I do love Matty V. I do enjoy him. And Patrick's great too. He knows the team well and he feels like one of our guys. So we have a great broadcast situation going on. Speaking of the broadcast really fast, Valley Sports reporter Carlin Bath reached out to us and said that she's really enjoyed Locked On Angels. So
that's awesome.
She's filled in for Erica Weston recently. Erica's just taken a little break. And Carlin Bath reached out to us and said that she appreciates our show and the analysis that we give. And so just a shout out back to her because she did a great job filling in for Erica and has been doing a great job. And it feels cool to know that, like, hey, somebody in the organization likes our show. So I just wanted to give her a shout out. I thought that was pretty cool.
Locked On Angels is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. Summer is coming. It's hot in Southern California. Is it cool in Chicago, Jonathan?
Oh, it was like drizzly today. It was beautiful.
Oh, we hate you. You're eating deep dish pizza. It's nice and cool. We're sweating out here. But it is a good time to prepare for the fall. And a new season means new opportunity and new growth. And as your small business grows, LinkedIn Jobs is here to make it easier to find the people that you want to talk to and find them a whole lot faster and for free. You can create a job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs. I actually went there and I did it just because I wanted to see if it was actually quick and you can do it in minutes. And I did. And I'm not very technically smart. So
wait, you didn't put a listing up for a new host, did you?
I'm moving on.
We'll talk later.
LinkedIn Jobs gives you simple tools like screening questions that make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills, like podcast hosts and experience so that you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs will help you find the candidates that you want to talk to and help you find them faster. And did you know that nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn every single day? So post your job for free at LinkedIn Jobs, linkedin.com/LockedOnMLB. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnMLB. You can post your job for free there. And remember, some terms and conditions apply.
If one of our brothers makes a job change in the near future, I'm going to know what happened.
They can't do the show, John. Nobody's as good as you.
Who's gonna come up with Book of Boba Fett, right?
Not our brothers.
It wasn't me either. I wish it was. Listen, let's
Who's gonna steal it, right?
I know. Well, for our last segment of the day, we want to talk about the halos that were never really Halos. That was a great title, by the way, Mike. Good job.
Oh,
See,
thank you.
where would we be without you? These are
Every once in a
guys
while,
that
I come up with a good one.
these are guys who were either in the Angel system, played for the Angels, and never really contributed to the major league team in a significant way because they were moved, or one way or another, they just were no longer with the team. So the first one I want to talk about, get this, Gene Segura. Remember him?
Wow. There's a blast from the past, right?
No kidding. And of course he's with the Phillies right now.
Yep.
And he's had a great career from the Brewers to the Phillies. And I'm not sure where he was in between that, but I know that he was traded to the Brewers for Zach Greinke. Remember that trade?
I do.
Including Ariel Pena and Johnny Helwig. Now, Johnny Helwig and Pena did not have a successful career. Listen to this. For Gene Segura's average season, 162 games, 13 home runs, 61 RBIs, a 285 average, 330 on base percentage, 411 slugging, and a 741 OPS. And he plays great up the middle defense, and he's done that for a long time. Now, I will have to say that with making that trade in 2012 for Zach Greinke, even though the Angels didn't make the playoffs, that was a team that certainly should have made the playoffs that season. I'm not really sure how we weren't able to do that. So it's kind of a surprise. But that was a great move to get Zach Greinke on this team, because then you had Weaver and Wilson and Heron and Greinke and just Santana, all those guys. What a rotation, and what an addition that one was.
Yeah, as you say that, I'm like, how come we didn't make the playoffs?
Yeah, why didn't we get to the playoffs again?
That's a great rotation. Here's the only thing that I actually cared about is when I saw the name Johnny Helwig, I actually looked up to see if that was the son of the Ultimate Warrior, who is Jim Helwig. And so it's actually, they're not related at all. But I wanted to just share that nugget with you. It is not the Ultimate Warrior son.
Wig and Weg. Got it. Yeah, yes. I don't know if we've revealed our wrestling fandom on this podcast yet, other than the millions and millions that we used to do. It's time. It's time to come
They know
clean.
Now. If they didn't think we were nerds then, they think that we're nerds now.
That's right. We got a second one on the Halos who were never really Halos list. Who is this? This one makes me upset.
This one is frustrating. Yeah. Mike Clevenger was on our team. He was in AA, and he was traded for Vinny Pistano.
Who was on the all-time great Vinny Pistano, the future Hall of Famer, Vinny Pistano.
Yeah. So I'm gonna share a comparative here, John. So here's Clevenger's average season: 15-8, a 3.19 ERA, 186 innings pitched, 207 Ks, and he averages about 32 starts. Now, he did get hurt, and he is coming back. He's pitching for the Padres now, and he's finding his form again. But it does take about 2 or 3 years to really get comfortable after Tommy John surgery, in which he had. So, but okay, so now let me give you Vinny Pistano stats. You ready for these?
Hit me. I'm ready for these
Hall of Famer
numbers.
Vinny Pistano retired in 2018. Man, and that's hold on. I'm scrolling through the notes here. I don't see it. Actually, it says move on to the next segment.
Okay, great. Good. Show done. No, you know what's frustrating about that trade was the bullpen that we had in 2014 when we made the trade for Vinny Pistano had Jason Grilli in there. Houston Street was our closer. Fernando Salas was a great relief pitcher. So what in the world did we need Vinny Pistano for? What kind of trade? It's Trader Jerry DePoto, making moves and transactioning, as he likes to say. And man, I am just so glad he is not our GM anymore. That was so frustrating. And honestly, the results that we got when he was our GM, I don't attribute to him at all, other than
no, not at all.
Maybe the CJ Wilson signing, because CJ, a lot of people will say that CJ was just as bad as like a Pujols deal or Hamilton deal. CJ was a great pitcher for us. And if we have to fight about it, we'll fight about it. I've done it on our Super Halo Bros podcast. I'll do it on Locked On Angels. I'll do it right here, right now.
Right. That is going to be a segment coming up soon. I just want you to know that's going to be a segment, and I'm just going to shut up and I'm going to let you go.
Yeah, I think that would be a great one. So yeah, how frustrating is it that we had Mike Clevenger, who was terrific for the Guardians over the past few years, and now the Padres even got him knowing that he would need Tommy John surgery. That's how much they wanted to have him, right?
Yeah.
And it's just so incredibly frustrating that we let him go for a relief pitcher that at the end of the day, I don't think we really needed. I thought we
No.
had a pretty solid bullpen back
I
then.
100% agree with you, but I think that this is what happens in baseball, right? Like you have those trades where you give up somebody in the minor leagues to try to get somebody that helps you in the major leagues, and then you end up finding out like, oh, the guy we traded is Jeff Bagwell, right? When Jeff Bagwell got traded for a guy named Larry Anderson from the Red Sox to the Astros, Larry ended up playing for 1 year for the Red Sox, and Jeff Bagwell made the Hall of Fame. And so
he's in there with Vinny Pistano, I guess.
Hey, that Chicago deep dish is really making you funny.
That's right. I'm hanging out at the comedy clubs down here in Chicago, I should say. All right. Well, you know that Paul Francis Sullivan is also a comedian, by the way. But Mike, tell our listeners about his show.
Well, you can't call him Paul Francis Sullivan. You got to call him Sully.
Sully.
And his show is Locked On MLB, and he brings his unique perspective of major leagues past and present. And it's free and it's available wherever you get your podcasts.
We really appreciate you making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. If you want to get locked on with Mike and John, you can follow us on Twitter at Locked On Angels and connect with us on Twitter and Instagram using at Super Halo Bros. Mike, tell me about tomorrow's show, please.
All right, so we're going to talk about Shohei Ohtani because we are obligated and contractually obligated to do so. And he is pitching, and so we're excited about that. We're going to actually talk about his repertoire of pitches and how great it really is. That's coming up tomorrow on Locked On Angels.
I love it. All right, until then, my name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
And we'll see you right back here tomorrow on Locked On Angels.